You ever have one of those days where you think, well, this can't possibly get any weirder, and then the universe just goes, hold my beer? That was me kneeling in the dirt next to a smoking airplane on my own ranch, patching up a bleeding pilot when Karen, the HOA queen herself, comes barreling across my pasture. Not with help, not with a phone to call 911, but with a pair of bright orange garden shears and that look on her face like she's about to win an Olympic gold in being a nuisance. You can't make this stuff up. She starts hacking my water hose mid-first aid, screaming about unauthorized activity while aviation fuel and pure undiluted rage fill the air. And the kicker? She's waving her precious citation book over a man who's just survived a crash. That was the day Karen's HOA career died a spectacular death, but honestly, the build-up to that circus was a whole season of drama by itself. Let me back up a second, because if you've never crossed paths with a true suburban villain, you're about to meet one. I'm Jake Morrison, 52, retired Air Force mechanic, lover of vintage planes and strong coffee, and I figured I'd found a slice of paradise when I inherited this old ranch from my Uncle Pete, 47 acres of peace and pasture on the edge of Millbrook Heights. The barn creaks in the wind like an old man's knees, the porch wraps around like a hug, and most days you can smell cut hay and motor oil and hear nothing but birds, and if you listen close, the distant hum of the highway. My wife, Sarah, she's a nurse at the county hospital, and our daughter Emma is 17, going on attorney sharp as they come. We're the kind of folks who wave at neighbors but mind our own business. Here's the catch: my land predates that fancy HOA by 4 decades. Their subdivision basically had to build around our homestead when they plopped down their rows of identical houses and started acting like they invented property rights. And right at the center of all this was Karen Whitmore. 49 county code enforcement by day, HOA Napoleon by night. She moved in and started bossing people around like it was her birthright. Her Mercedes never has a speck of dirt on it. She wears that white HOA polo like a general's uniform, and I swear that clipboard is fused to her arm. It started small. I work on old airplane engines out in my workshop Saturday mornings, nothing wild. But for Karen, that was a federal offense. First came the certified letters, corporate mumbo-jumbo about industrial activities and property values, all because I was rebuilding a 1940s Piper Cub. Then she started with the noise complaints, the fake reports about me running some kind of black market repair shop. She'd park out front with a telephoto lens, taking pictures of me holding wrenches. My kid's chicken coop. She reported it. My barn. She tried to have it condemned, said it violated setback requirements. Never mind, it had been standing since Eisenhower was in office. 4th of July last year. Right when I thought it couldn't get worse, Karen storms onto my ranch with 3 county inspectors in tow, parading them through my backyard barbecue like she's DEA. I'm flipping burgers trying to keep the peace, but she's out there measuring the barn, barking at county guys, making a scene for all 30 of my neighbors. You ever taste humiliation? It's like metal on your tongue. But most folks knew me fixed their tractors, cleared storm debris for free. Only Karen saw a criminal. After that, she went nuclear. She filed 47 complaints in 6 months, no exaggeration. She'd report my gravel driveway, my mailbox, even said Emma's chicken coop was a biohazard. At one point, she had a spreadsheet color-coded and time-stamped like she was building a legal case for the Supreme Court. But the thing about bureaucratic warfare is you gotta know your enemy. So I started digging through old records at the courthouse, and there it was, a golden ticket from 1963, agricultural exemption, stamped and signed by the county commissioner, grandfathering my land against all their shiny new zoning rules. I sent Karen a certified letter with all the receipts, deeds, surveys, the exemption. Got her angry little signature on the return receipt, but that just lit her fuse. Next thing I know, she's hosting a concerned neighbors meeting warning the subdivision. I'm running a dangerous industrial operation. Only folks showed up expecting a chemical spill and got a PowerPoint of me carrying a socket wrench. "Isn't his land agricultural?" Martha, the retired teacher, asked. Karen's face turned fire engine red. You could see most people realized they'd been had, but Karen just kept going whispering about unlicensed flight schools and unsafe aircraft over the playground. I hit back with every tool I had filed. Formal harassment with the sheriff documented every call, every complaint, every wasted hour. Then Karen made her biggest mistake. She filed a federal complaint with the FAA, claiming I was running unauthorized flight training. Thing is, my buddy Chuck, the pilot she accused, just happens to be a federal aviation safety inspector. When Chuck found out, he laughed so hard he almost choked. He'd been using my airstrip for maintenance for years and had all the paperwork to prove it. Chuck's official report not only cleared me, it called my restoration the gold standard. I sent a copy to Karen. This time the return receipt came back with her husband's signature. Guess she'd had enough of dealing with me. But it wasn't over. Karen started stalking. No joke, crouching behind bushes with a camera, sneaking onto my property, taking pictures at dawn, measuring distances like she was mapping out a prison escape. I set up security cameras everywhere, every angle covered. Deputy Rodriguez, bless him, watched hours of footage and just shook his head. "This is criminal stalking, Jake," he said, "and it's about time the county found out." Then one morning, the twist no one saw coming. Chuck's old Cessna sputtered over my ranch engine, dying, coming in too low. I dropped my coffee, ran for my first aid kit, and by the time I got there, Chuck's bleeding from his forehead, dazed but alive, the plane a crumpled mess. Before I could get the bandage on, Karen came charging, bathrobe slippers, hair wild, yelling about illegal aviation activity, dialing 911, not to help but to report me for property damage and endangering the community. Chuck, even bleeding, managed to pull out his federal badge and say, "Ma'am, you just filed a false report on a federal inspector." Karen's face went white. She'd just been caught on a recorded 911 line obstructing a federal investigation. It snowballed. Paramedics arrived, sheriff's deputies showed up, and while Chuck got patched up, Martha handed me a folder meeting minutes, financial records, evidence that Karen had been using HOA funds to hire private investigators to watch me. That's embezzlement, plain and simple. Sarah, meanwhile, found county ethics rules. Karen had trampled 8 violations just on paper. By Thursday, we'd built a case big enough to end her career 3 times over. 3 days later, my security cameras caught Karen creeping around at 3 a.m., flashlight in hand, planting evidence and stealing parts from Chuck's crashed plane, tampering with federal evidence. She even tried hacking HOA records to cover her tracks, but Martha had backups stashed everywhere. Karen finally showed up on my porch, sweating through her polo, offering me a bribe. Maybe the HOA could pay for fence repairs. Maybe upgrade your workshop, hoping I'd ask the feds to back off. I just hit record and let her talk. She dug her own grave deeper every second. It all came down to the emergency HOA meeting. The room was packed, media and all. Deputy Rodriguez read out the numbers. 71 calls, 68 bogus, all from Karen. Chuck spoke about her wasting hundreds of hours of federal time. I played the 911 recording, Karen's own voice denying a bleeding pilot medical aid. The vote to remove her was unanimous. Security escorted her out. The whole room applauded. Her career gone, her reputation shot, and my ranch more peaceful than ever. Karen pled guilty to federal charges, 18 months probation, $5,000 in fines, community service. The county hit her for another $12,000 in restitution. I got paid for legal fees and damage, and the HOA recovered thousands in embezzled funds. Martha stepped up as president and brought sanity back to the neighborhood. Real rules, real accountability, property values, up laughter instead of lawsuits. Chuck became a local legend. My shop is busier than ever, and we started a scholarship for young pilots paid for with Karen's restitution, naturally. So if you've ever faced down a clipboard-wielding tyrant, remember, document everything, know your rights, and don't back down on your own land. Sometimes the little guy really does win. Now, I gotta ask, what's your worst HOA nightmare? Drop it in the comments. Let me know your state, and maybe we'll feature your story next week. And, hey, hit that subscribe. Around here, justice always gets the last word.